People, deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time, people. I hope you're doing well and safe. Please make sure you hit the like button, people. Now, I'm sure you've seen emerging reports this Friday afternoon over here in the UK, whatever time zone elsewhere. David Luiz at the end of the season will be leaving Arsenal, allegedly after holding talks with the club and informing them of his decision. Now, again, we'll get into it. I'll get into the article, but one has to wonder, this isn't a decision that's been taken lightly. He's at that stage in his career where he's got a lot to think about. Does he want to return back to Brazil? Does he want to play for Benfica again, which was muted? He's been linked with MLS clubs. Who knows? There might be an adventure. You know, he's been to France, for example. Who knows? There might be one last European adventure or something else. I know he's got coaching aspirations, and one does feel indirectly this isn't the last of his relationship with Arsenal, but it is what it is. This isn't a decision that's been made lightly. You know, he's a vital member on and off the field. To be fair with you, I'll get onto it, but I think he's been a much better signing than will be given credit for, you know, in a sense of, better yet, we might as well say it now, in a sense of, we all know he's got a bag of mistakes. We all know it's like a house on fire. But you take Luiz for what he's worth. Personally, I didn't want him to sign, and it's not that I don't want him to leave. I wouldn't say there's sadness, but it's like, I like you, man. I think, you know, like I said, you make a bunch of mistakes, but you're a leader. I've never had to question his leadership. I've never had to question his integrity. This is a man that didn't train and used painkillers to play in a final. I've never had to doubt his mentality. I don't think it's as basic to say as we go through if David Luiz plays against Villarreal, but I think we missed him. Them situations there, you need leaders, and whatever you say about him, I think he's done that. And you leave with your head held high, man. You know, I think you've been a good signing. As I was saying, with relevant to what he is, because let's be real, you get what you pay for in terms of the player. You know, you've spent a small portion of him, but he has made a lot of mistakes and cost the team points like everyone. You know, I have to say that. But as I was saying, this ain't a decision made lightly. You know, Arsenal and him must have been having indirect talks to see how either party feels throughout the year, like they did last year. And we've given him a new deal. At times, I'm pretty sure he wants to stay, then he wants to go. The club also the same. So it is what it is in that regards. But before I offer any more of my opinions, folks, I might as well get to the article that came out initially via the Daily Mail. As you lot can see, David Luiz is leaving Arsenal after just 2 years, after joining from Chelsea, after rejecting the club's attempts to keep him in final talks today. Now, that's the concern I have in that, you know, again, the club must have been, if they did want to keep him, talking to him. He's a vital member of Arteta's side. He's one of his lieutenants. He's one of his reassuring voices. But for me, you know, 34 years of age, played 73 times for him. For me, he shouldn't be as vital to this team. So the one benefit I would say is, as much as I have admiration, this forces the club indirectly to kind of find that long-term centre-half. And I felt on the best of days, you need a centre-half. You're going to need to replace his leadership. He's helped his young compatriot and countryman in Gabriel on and off the field. But on the field, who is going to play with Gabriel? You're going to bring Chambers at centre-half. You're going to bring a new one. You're going to continue with Holding. So again, you do need that experience. And for me, you lose a lot in terms of leadership qualities and probably in terms of playing out from the back. Gabriel can play out from the back, as can Saliba. But at this current time, you probably say David Luiz is the best at that. So you've lost something immediately from your tactics. I feel this forces us to learn a mistake we didn't make. We didn't learn with Koscielny, in that we over-relied on Koscielny, and you could see how angry he was in what he was saying about Unai Emery. I think we're over-relying. As much as I like David Luiz, he shouldn't be as vital to the team. We need people that reflect the manager, or in that they're young and hungry, but same way the manager is saying that. So I think one benefit, it forces the club to act and not be reactive, because they clearly have been. You know, you've tried to keep him. This doesn't tell me you've necessarily got a plan or intend to bring a centre-half in, but we have heard, should David Luiz depart, we will be looking at such. He can leave with his head held high, as I said. But as you can see, the bullet points, he's set to leave at the end of the season. He spent 2 years after signing from Chelsea. He's informed Arsenal of his decision to walk away, and he's played 73 times for the club, close to 100. It would be a shame that, you know, that game against Newcastle, if it is going to be his last game, in the same way, whatever you say about Hector Bellerin, you know, it would be a shame if that's his last appearance, that little cameo at Stamford Bridge. It's not a nice way. Apparently, he will leave at the end of the season following talks. Sportsmail understand the highly decorated centre defender has informed the Gunners of his intention to leave the Emirates this summer. Luiz's departure will be announced when his deal expires in July. So yeah, man, other people are gonna need to be leaders, aren't they? In that regards, David Luiz's deal expires this summer, and the club was said to be keen on extending his stay. And again, if you were going to extend his stay to be a squad player, reassuring voice, that's cool. But I did think that would mean to us, we're not looking at a centre half, or we're not trying to have the building blocks. You know, Gabriel left centre half, Saliba, whoever on the right. A right back is needed. Tierney at left back. You know, Leno is talking about moving, and for Arteta, you know, it seems like all his trusted lieutenants seem to have cold feet. You know, Xhaka's got 2 years left and allegedly considering his future. You know, Leno's allegedly considering his future. Bellerin, rightly or wrongly, is allegedly considering his future. Now David Luiz is departing, so it forces Arteta to do what we hoped he done, in that he leans on these young players or players that have just arrived in terms of Tierney and Gabriel to set a new mentality, because one has to wonder, with the old guard, how could you change things? Like I said, one thing I rate about David Luiz is his mentality, but apparently he'll move on to pastures new. David Luiz's experience has been a key factor for Mikel Arteta, which is right. Moving away from that, that's all it's got to say. So he can leave with his head held high. Apparently he's going. My quick words are, once again, it forces us not to rely on him and overuse him, in the sense of him being 34. So we have to look for someone. Thanks for the memories as well, Luiz. You know, some might say we arguably should have got rid of him last year. And I think he's been a better signing than I and people give him credit for. I think he's a leader. I think he's a brave. He's been brave. You know, I like Luiz, man. I didn't think I would be this fond of him when he signed for the club, but you know, it is what it is. Like I said, he isn't without his mistakes. Let's be real. You can't build a team with the likes of several players for him. But for me, when you look at David Luiz and Xhaka, two players that we've directly about Luiz, indirectly about Xhaka, you know, they're the ingrain of this team. Rightly or wrongly, the team kind of relies on them. So again, you're going to have to replace not only the leadership, but that tactically. And Arteta, again, I'd like to imagine you're never going to be told by the agents or the advisors what's what, but you'd imagine you've kind of known for a while now. And the only thing that concerns me is that we've offered him the deal, really, because that kind of indirectly tells me you haven't got a plan. Although that could have been, you know what, we give you a deal, you're more a voice in and around the change rooms, you're not playing, but we all know Arsenal, that's not the case. So farewell, David Luiz. You know, hopefully he can play before the end of the season. But for me, people, DG, I'm out. Let me know your opinions. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Yeah, man, I've really enjoyed speaking about that. As I said, hopefully we sign the centre half. Quick message from the sponsors and I'm out.